This linear walk starts off south of Leicester in Bruntingthorpe and ends up many miles to the north in Houghton-on-the-Hill. It begins by heading north out of Bruntingthorpe itself, before taking the first turn right to head along Lutterworth Road for a while, before taking the trackway past the Sheepwash to Arnesby. Exiting this village eastward, it picks up a series of field paths and bridleways for a couple of miles to the village of Fleckney. Passing through this village, it takes a long series of field paths northeastward across the canal and under the railway, before passing over the A6 road to arrive in the village of Great Glen. Passing through the village's recreation ground, it takes the bridleway north to eventually pass close to the site of the medieval Stretton Magna, just outside the present-day Great Stretton, before walking along the busy Mere Road and Stretton Lane towards Houghton. Diverting off this road, it picks up a very poorly signposted field route at Houghton Lodge Farm to Houghton-on-the-Hill, ending at the village church.
So today I'm starting off in Bruntingthorpe, famous for a decommissioned aerodrome, and well, let's say the weather doesn't look that great, so this could be an interesting walk. And anyway, here we go. Now, of course, the main reason I've come for a walk today is because it's the coronation, and not being a massive fan of the royals myself, I'm heading off to do something more interesting for me. Go for a nice long walk. Now, if I feel particularly energetic, I might be able to walk all the way home, but that's over 20 miles. So I suspect at some point on this walk, I will be calling in the emergency rescue helicopters in the form of my own wife to come and collect me and take me home. Also, with the weather forecast today being inclement, well, there might come a point where it just gets far too wet to carry on. So I'm going to really very much see how far we can go. Now, I had vaguely planned to do the first bit of the walk going across fields, but got slightly turned around in Bruntingthorpe, missed the turning, so we're taking the road for the first mile. But you know what? As warming up on the road's not such a bad thing. And it is a Saturday, so it should be relatively quiet. Well, we're finally off the road, thankfully, and into the field. And I'm already thinking I would have been much drier on the roads, because obviously we've had a lot of overnight rain, and hence crops, stiles, hedgerows are all quite damp. Underfoot's not too bad though, thankfully. Was worried it was going to be quite muddy, because I heard the rain last night about 10 o'clock at night. Oh, it was hammering down, or fair puthering, as my mother would say. So, yes, here we are. I'm now on the field route, or about 3 or 4 fields, to Arnesby, which, to be honest, wasn't actually somewhere I planned to go on my original route, but I took a slight wrong turn at the start. But no matter, easy to correct. This is, after all, a linear walk, so just to cut back over a period of 3 or 4 miles. And by the time I get to Fleckney, which will be the next village I get to after this one, I will be back on course as originally planned. I don't think, this is compared to last time's walk, I'm actually going to be off course too badly. I don't think it's going to put too many more miles on this route, which is just as well, because I have planned quite a few miles. But anyway, nice to be in the field for the first time, and not the last time on today's stroll. As always, I will stop to spot a pair of gooses, clearly nesting there. I shall not be going near you two, don't you worry. Plenty of bunting. Here we are now on the field to Fleckney, which, as you'll remember, means I'll be able to pick up the course I originally plotted for today's route. It's not been such a bad diversion, all things considered. Arnesby was quite pretty. A little on the posh side for me. You know, nice balloons to celebrate the coronation, perhaps, but not exactly bedecked with street parties and festooned with celebrations, but never mind. Actually, maybe that'll be later on. You know, I live in hope I'm going to run into a street party on this route, which would mean free sandwiches. Yes, that's the only thing a street party means to me today, that's for sure. Free food, if there's any. Although I can imagine the locals will probably form a protective circle around it. I've just spotted, ahead of me on the path to Fleckney, a bunch of Guinea fowl. I've zoomed in, so apologies for the shaky cam. They're going to probably bolt the second they see me. Oh, there they go. We're off. Yeah, I don't blame them. But here we are, on the path to Fleckney, which, as I say, been joined by the few Guinea fowl. I wonder if they'll be still visible if I look to the left. No. Oh, there they are. Ah, yes. Oh. You go hide over there, fellows. Oh, yes. It's alright, I'm not coming that way. At least I'm fairly sure I'm not coming that way. Oh. Most exciting spot of the morning so far. You know, part of me thinks there should be some sort of song I should be singing, you know, an old song about walking through the fields of oilseed rape. Because, oh, it's cold and wet. It's quite deep, this. What looked like a good route through here, and is marked as the footpath, has turned into, oh, I'm just ploughing through where the road was that it set me out on. Oh, I am going to be soaked right up to my chest. I mean, there is a path here. I can sort of see it. Just the rape's in full bloom. And, oh, it's slippery underfoot as well. It's also a lot brighter sunshine today than it promised it would be. Oh look, here's a slightly better route. Oh. Yeah, so the route that looked like the route through that field turned into not the route, and oh my stars! Yes, my legs are wet and very yellow now. Oh well. Hopefully, the sunshine will help dry them out. I could be totally wrong and it could rain on me in the next hour. I should be saturated anyway. Those of you of a sane and sober disposition amongst my viewership will be glad to see I have found the actual trackway now rather than walking through the fields. Yeah, lesson there. Don't try walking through a field of rape in full bloom. Go on the trackway where a trackway is available. Well, after my passage through the rape fields, I'm now walking through the middle of Fleckney. Just going past the church, actually. After this, I'm hopefully going to pick up the path on Leicester Road, which heads up to Great Glen, and that goes across the fields for quite a few miles. Nice blossom there. My wife described this place as the Sileby of South-Leicestershire. I think it's rather nicer than Sileby. Sorry, Sileby. But it is certainly a size. And so yes, that was Fleckney, a smallish town-like place. But here we are, field path to Great Glen, and I've got to say, unlike the route I came into Fleckney on, this looks a heck of a lot easier. It's nothing like as muddy, it's nothing like as steep, and there's nothing as much like oilseed rape on the route. Of course, who knows what I'll come across in a couple of fields' time, because this does go on for quite a while. Looking at the map, I'd give a quick estimate at least a couple of miles, if not nearer 3 miles, to be honest, before you get to Great Glen. But anyway, I'm onto my second map sheet now, which is always good. Second map of 3 potentially I'll be using today. As always, from the linear walk, you do kind of walk across map sheets, and like a circular walk, we can just keep using one map sheet usually, unless you're near the edge. Ooh, that's quite potent. I think there was a pile of dung there. And here we have the complete opposite of the earlier problem. Field very freshly planted, so literally no route across it visible. So I'm having to take my best guess, get over the brow of the hill, and then hopefully I'm still aiming for the right marker. Ugh. I do dislike doing this. Thankfully I am treading only very lightly on the crops. Well, the seeded crops. According to my map, the route should be just about to the left of those trees. So that's what I'm aiming for. Hello, oilseed rape, my old friend. I'm not going to sing anymore. So yeah, the route across the field, though I follow the track very closely, and I followed the way markers. The way markers were about 5 degrees off, which on a very large field is quite a diversion, so I ended up curling back a little way. However, having just crossed the road up there from the field, the route across it, much more obvious. But and while it is oilseed rape again, it's much smaller here, and the path through it far more visible. So yeah, much happy with that. So let's have a look at the old Maparoony. Where are we now? Oh, we're probably about halfway to Great Glen at this point. Coming up to a river, a footbridge, something marked as Crane's Lock, whatever that is, and then hopping across a railway line, which is always fun because that may mean I'll be dodging a train. I've just seen an intercity going past, possibly with or without scones in the first class compartment. So it's an active line today, being a Saturday, being Coronation Saturday. So there will be trains for me to dodge. So I might film that bit. Hello! So that was the answer. It was, of course, a canal lock. And there's, the route under the tracks. Good. I'm not going to say I'm disappointed. Don't really fancy dodging across an intercity railway. Although it does happen near Melton. There's a route I take that round there that does go across that track. That occasionally has an intercity train hurtling along it. Now old abandoned railway tracks, they're different. They're a decent walking route. And there's quite a few of those in the region. Finally a train. Although I'm now so far away, it doesn't really matter. Never mind. Footpath still to Great Glen. And I've just noticed it goes across the busy road ahead of us on a little bridge. That's only a good thing. I don't know, I could have the road bent in such a way that I could actually see ahead for a short while. It's a bit of an up and down route, this I've got to say. So the sight lines across the fields are not great ones. There it is. Oh, I can just see in the distance that bridge. And there's some people who came across it, proving it's traversable. Always a good sign. Jump to the bridge here. Do not fancy walking across that dual carriageway. There's only all eight roads. That's the A6, by the way, don't I? Had nice little bridges like this. It would be much easier for me as a hiker. And here we are. Here's the route ahead as we're coming into the beginnings of the outskirts of Great Glen, which I've got to kind of pretty much walk the length of northwards before picking up a field path again to Great and Little Stretton. Kind of going between the two of them. Great Stretton, weirdly, is not particularly big, and Little Stretton's a little larger, but that's English place names for you. They make very little sense a lot of the time. Also, Great Glen. Hey! You nearly had a action shot of me falling on my ass then. That's a bit slippier than I thought it was. Sorry, viewers. One of these days we'll get an action shot of me falling over. It's almost guaranteed. It happens from time to time. But yes, Great Glen. I'm not sure this is a glen, being that we're not in Scotland. Just in the south-Leicestershire marshes. And I've absolutely no idea what that building is over there, but it's got some very interesting looking bird tables. And seats. Caption guy, fill us in on what it is. Thank you very much. So, just walking through Great Glen, trying to find their recreation grounds, because that's where the footpath picks up from. Very nice, isn't it? Crossing there. Now, there we go. Very good of them to mark it so clearly. I think I just heard a duck. I haven't seen any ducks on today's walk. Total contrast to the last one. Ooh, am I over 1.8 metres? Oh, just. Right, and now from here to find the footpath north. It's about 11:15 on Coronation Saturday, and right now, to quote the media BS, The eyes of the world are on London. Well, meanwhile, out here in the wilds of Leicestershire, my eyes are on the beautiful, green, natural and beautiful world. Far, far away from any pointless flag-waving ceremonies. Couldn't be happier, frankly. It's a much better way to spend my morning. I hope however you've spent it today, you've enjoyed it, whatever you've done. And if you've made some sandwiches, where are mine? That's what I say. Save me some free sandwiches. Although they'll probably go off in the post. Got to say, the route from Great Glen up to Great and Little Stretton is pretty easy. Doesn't go through fields, has the occasional helicopter coming over. I don't know, maybe they've spotted me as a threat. Oh, has a cafe, farm shop, animal feed, Penbury Farm. Oh, probably worth a visit. If I wasn't hiking at least another 10 miles in this direction, I really can't spare the time. But yeah, this is a really dead easy route to follow. It's not too hard under the feet, it's not too muddy, and it's really obvious. No, that's what we call a house, isn't it? Yeah, so I think I could be happy in a house by that sort of size. Just enough room for my stuff, and about 20 other rooms for all the stuff I don't own. Well, after that fun bit across the fields, it's on to some more boring roads. And this is the road to Houghton-on-the-Hill, which hopefully about halfway down I can go and take a diversion and get back across the fields, because it's surprisingly busy today, with a lot of drivers not taking a great deal of care and attention around hikers. And as you can see, it's not the most exciting of roads to walk down either. I mean, it's pretty enough in the fields, but there is, from Great Stretton, no useful footpaths to the north at all. So hence the reason, gotta walk this. Still better than Lincolnshire in terms of pathways. It's good old Leicestershire, but yeah, oh well, I think the trick here is to crack on a pace and get off this road as fast as I can. That stretch of road was the opposite of fun, as I expected, but now I've come off it and I'm walking down to Houghton Lodge Farm, and the heavens have just started opening. It is a little past 11, which is when it was forecast to start raining, so I've done fairly well so far to avoid it. I am hoping though it's going to be a light rain, not a heavy rain. I do have my rain cloak with me. In the next bit of footage you see I'm wearing a big protective cape, you know for well the rain has got a lot heavier than it was. But we shall see as we progress onwards towards the footpath and then into Houghton-on-the-Hill. Yeah, it's chucking it down. It's not helped by the fact that the route across these farms south of Houghton-on-the-Hill is very, very poorly marked out. Posts just not visible. Farmers stringing electrical wire across where pathways should be. Yeah, it's pretty poor, all things considered. And I'm being straight for an airfield. Very noisy aeroplane too. Oh, I'm going to tell you this, folks. I know every hiker has to cope with rain, but it's not putting me in a great mood walking through this, and not a great deal of direction, so there's a large part of me that's tempted to call it quits when I get to Houghton-on-the-Hill. Certainly if it carries on raining this heavily, I am really not wanting to do the rest of my route today, because I will just get saturated. So it might be a mildly truncated route. I mean, we're over 11 miles, we'll be certainly 12 miles by the time we've navigated through this quagmire to get there, and we shall see. Yeah, it's going to be a bit of an abortive walk, partly because the weather is absolutely vile. It's so wet now I can't actually operate my phone, so I can't take any photos, I can't do anything other than just take video like I'm just doing at the moment. Still, I've done nearly 12 miles and I can see Houghton Church ahead. I've just got to work out a way to get out of the fields. Well, here we are in Houghton-on-the-Hill, and ooh, my apologies, I'll have to rub the lens. Let me see if that makes it any better. Oh, marginally. But it is that wet, folks. Well, if you've enjoyed this walk, you're a glutton for punishment. I enjoyed it for the first 11 miles before the tracks got silly and the rains cascaded down from the heavens. But yes, I'm glad I'm arriving back in somewhere that I can go and duck into the church porch and shelter from the rain and wait for Mrs. Lama to come and pick me up. Of course, if you want to see me do more walks, do not forget to like, leave a comment, of course subscribe to Walking with Llama Paws, and you might see me walk somewhere next time when it's dry and I'm not trying to avoid the coronation. Yes. But yeah, today's walk is almost done with. Not as long as I'd hoped. You know, I've got another easily 6 miles in me, but I'm afraid the will has evaporated in the rain, if that's not a contradiction in terms. And here we are at the end of my walk, and I'm claiming sanctuary. Oh no! The gates are locked! No! Oh no, thanks Houghton Church. Right then, now to go and find somewhere to wait for Mrs. Llama. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time for hopefully a drier Walking with Llama Paws.